Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Bards of New York, the Act 1 finale for our Adventurous Gods on Regolus Prime. Hope you've had a lovely week. Those of you at home, those of you watching now, hello. Good to see you in the chat. And welcome. It's going to be a good one today, a nice closer, an Act 1 finale, a little bit of a 11 o'clock number and whatnot. Got a lot of things to address, a lot of loose ends to tie up. But before we do any of that, got a couple regular announcements to go through. Again, as always, check in with our Discord. If you haven't joined, please do so, especially with the act shift coming up. There's going to be a lot of fun new information coming there, a lot of a new way we're thinking about recaps, the new way we're doing, dealing with character information, all that sort of stuff. And again, just a great place to hang out. Lots of fun photos of both pets and alcoholic beverages get posted on their Discord. So if you have either of those two things to share, I recommend that you go there to do them. Okay. In terms of other news, we had some success on Sunday with Legends of Velos this past week. So
we did, yeah, it was so fun. I guested on our friend's stream over at Legends of Velos, and I'm going to be on there again next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Pacific. Please come if you can. It's a really nice hang, and it's a perfect Sunday activity.
I have to find the perfect spot at work because for whatever reason the Wi-Fi denies anything that has been tagged with games, and that includes the entire Twitch platform. So I was in the little whiskey cupboard scrambling Legends of Ayla, and it was just blank search results.
Me on the third floor.
Yeah. Exactly. It's the Riddler, I
was thinking from Jurassic Park.
Oh, Alan fucking Cumming as a child? Yeah. In any case, do check our friends out there and our true friend of the show, actual friend of the show, Hannah. Not that Legends of Velos isn't a friend. Anyway, what time is that?
Keep digging that hole.
Yeah.
It's 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
Perfect. Excellent. 3 p.m. Eastern Time. In other news, the big news for us is that, as I was saying, this is the Act 1 finale for Regolus Prime. Our gods are going to go off and do godly things, and we're going to come back next week with Act 2, 10,000 years in the future from where we are right now. Society will have progressed, the gods will have made myths among themselves, and people will have started adventuring as well. And in fact, we have our 3 adventurers at this very table now. So if you like, we can go clockwise, starting with Drew, and would you just briefly tease our upcoming adventurers 10,000 years on?
Give name, class, and fun fact.
Yeah, like the shittiest work icebreaker you can
I hate those.
My name is Drew. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite food... No, I'm kidding. The name of my character is Angelo Emethios, and he is a wizard and fighter, multi-class. And fun fact about Angelo is that he is a demigod, but has no clue that he is a demigod.
Okay.
That's cool.
Cards on the table. We love to hear it. I love that kind of stuff, like character secrets that aren't player secrets. Especially when they're that. I remember I once played a warlock that was secretly the god in the mortal body, and everyone knew it but themselves, so they were clumsily figuring it out. So I love that stuff. Yeah. Of them sort of navigating that world that way. Excellent. Angelo, happy to meet you. Hannah?
Speaking of warlocks, my character is going to be a warlock, and her name is Tara, and she had a wife and kid. That's it. That's my fun fact.
For breakfast.
Oh.
Hi there, everybody. It's still me.
Have you or a loved one been victimized by cannibalism?
Have you wanted to victimize your own loved ones via cannibalism?
Kyle breaks home. Cool.
Tell us
Great.
about
My character's name is Ignis. She is a ranger monk mix. The sister of Tara. and is a bit of a mischievous scamp who's not afraid to tiptoe that line of morality.
Average body count, and I do not mean the slumbering kind.
Or both.
Well, yeah, sure. Actually, average total body count don't define.
She would not count. I will say it's most likely in the late hundreds.
Figure that one out for yourselves at home, folks.
What's the Venn diagram?
Sussy either way.
Like 100, like almost 200.
Great. Yeah, somewhere between 170 and 200. That's nice.
Definitely
That's
lost
really
count.
nice.
That's like what most high school boys say.
I've seen that meme used exclusively with Percy Rolo. From Scandal being like, what's your body count? He's like, I don't know, 35. It's like, wow, how did you? Oh, you meant? No, I've never slept with anyone. I'm a virgin. Then why did you say 30? Great, good stuff. So you guys, honestly, you'll just have to come back and check in next week to meet these characters for real, Angelo, Terra, and Ignis. It's gonna be a fun one. Quite the zag from the early days of Regulus that we're living in now, and I think it's an exciting zag. I'm ready for it. I'm very ready for it. But before we can get to 10,000 years in the future, we have to deal with the now. The new, the fresh Regulus, scarred by some very recent actions. So before a quick recap, we have to foretell what the fates have in store for us. And Hannah, I believe it is your turn
It is.
to pull our destiny in the cards. So what do our Lords and Savior over in Thedas have to tell?
This
today?
informs the future of Regulus.
Judgment.
Oh my god, that is
couldn't be better than that, right?
Perfect.
For those of you who don't read tarot at home, it means what it is on the tin, right? Like, don't have to explain much about judgment, do I? Perfect.
Y'all read that shit that I sent in the Discord, right? That is spicy meatball.
So, with the proverbial sort of Damocles hanging over us, judgment shading our futures, we return to the world of Regulus Prime and the town of Brighthorn, where, just in brief, last episode we found our gods clapping cheeks, basically, metaphorically speaking. Oonan took it upon themselves to absolutely wreck the priest formerly known as Cairo. Just completely...
The heap of decaying meat.
Yeah.
Formerly known.
Just bodied. Who seemed to be enjoying themselves, was asking for the pain. You got a little bits and pieces of the plan from him before he started assembling himself with the corpses. And you just took him to church. You wombo comboed him. Arkham Asylum finisher, like press triangle and circle at the same time. And while this was going on, we had Nevrik up in the atmosphere dealing with this falling star. And Ystävä functionally, first of all, banishing a paladin.
Godwin is gone for now.
Gunman.
He's Gonwin.
Gonwin. It was first a brief banishment and then a complete fucking plane shift. Just
yes.
sent away.
Hashtag Gon was the Gunman.
And then you were tending to Yui for a bit before Luna revealed themselves and tried to reason with you guys, tried to make some kind of level playing field, whom you effectively not just intimidated, but
I mommed them.
yeah, you divine mommed them. You showed them the error of divinity and sort of corrected their path a little bit.
You also choked her out.
You put
did
the-
pull her up by her collar and said, "Look here."
Mommy, sorry.
You put the fear of
Sorry,
God in
Mommy.
her.
Sorry.
Pun intended.
Yeah. So while that was all going on, you corrected using your Pegasus, sort of congealed from the stone casing of this meteor. You used the first Pegasus to guide the fall of this organic comet down to the surface of the planet, where it made a huge impact amidst a small little archipelago, causing a bright light to wash over the Earth, awaking the power of the wish. And in its wake was left this worm, this white, fleshy, massive, curled thing in a now crater-like island with some almost artificially made rivers from this impact, blah, blah, blah. So that's where you are dealing with this. As Oonan, in the wake of this destruction, you took it upon yourselves to take action. You visited Papa, the ethereal Papa that is. Got some guidance, some very nebulous guidance from the childlike form of Oonan, of Uro, before forming a twin half, basically. The moon, a great celestial object orbiting the planet now as well. And as you're making the moon, Ystävä summoned pieces of all of your divinity to create a new god and give you a new purpose as, effectively, the god of dreams and foresight. And this is sort of where we pick up, right? Ystävä, you're on Brighthorn watching Yui take stock of things and sort of begin to take some steps with Hylan around the area here, with some nervous onlookers from the town itself. Luna is basically near midnight, kind of administering last rites, effectively. Oonan, you're up in space, seeing this moon shift, and we will begin our session with Nevrik. You and your Pegasus hovering above this island, with this great white worm, glowing and glistening, sort of shifting in its own weight, looking up at that new moon. Beautiful. As its many eyes twinkle and its mouth just stays still. When it speaks, it doesn't move its mouth. And that's where we find you. I would say you're probably a good few hundred feet up in the air, considerably high above it, but it's big enough that you can, it doesn't look small, even from this far away. What would you like to do?
I am going to fly down to it.
Okay.
And just to communicate with it, I wanted to ask, who are you?
You drift down. How close do you want to get?
Floating just like right in front of its face, like.
Okay. As you get closer to it, it sort of slowly turns its attention towards you. So it's always shifting and writhing. It's big enough that it's one part of it can be moving intensely and it wouldn't even affect other parts of it. So it's just sort of undulating unto itself, filling the entire crater that it sits in. It turns to you and you get a closer look at it. It's all looks from a distance like one humongous white glistening earthworm, and as you get closer, it's made of a myriad of glistening, almost liquid scales that only look white because they seemingly almost choose to. They seem to reflect an own internal light, so if they have another color, it's not easy to tell. Its eyes close and open, and as an eye closes, it will disappear and another will open in another place. Its large open mouth seems hinged on a second joint, as if it had a second set of jaws that is almost like folded in on the first one a little bit. You speak to this?
I do. Do you have a name?
This comes from afar. It sort of shifts itself to look at you a little closer. One close to your kin may call this Halifax.
Halifax. And do you intend to do anything? Do you have any goals? Are you here for a reason?
Tilts its head up to the moon. This came as it always comes. to seek closeness with puppets like yourselves. I see you through this lens. You dance on strings, held by those that determine fate with numbered rocks, scribbling your existence onto parchment. You do not know of what this speaks, but this sees them. I seek no ill. This has come before, and this will come again. But you are new to this cycle. This is the first puppet of your ilk that has been here. How have you found this cycle?
You... a puppet?
Do not stress over such thoughts. You cannot understand the power that which rolls with 20 sides holds over your being.
I don't quite understand you, but...
You are not meant to. This comes with no ill will. If you would have this stay, this could provide great benefit to you and those that wield you.
Well, I guided you here, and...
That was you.
Yes, well, it was me and this Pegasus here.
It shoots its neck out, and as it sort of stretches and extends Mr. Fantastic-like towards you, the part that stretches towards you shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks, so it's got still the bulk of its huge body sitting on the island, but as this thing approaches you, it's just almost the size of a regular, like, boa constrictor, a small serpent sort of winding its way around you. Eyes again just growing and disappearing and growing and disappearing. This owes you much thanks, gratitude. We could bestow upon you a boon of great worth. We bring these each and every cycle, but you could bear them anew this time.
What might this be?
A great gift from beyond this realm. A gift tethered to this and our existence.
Okay. I feel that it's as fair trade as guiding you here.
Give me 1 second. I have to pull out something.
I don't think that the chat can see, but Ava's on Will's lap right now, and it is the cutest
It's
thing.
like, this is the Great Worm Halifax just sitting here. It pulls its serpentine worm-like head back, and it now lets its second jaw open. I'm talking full, like, Slither the Sky Dragon kind of, like, double mouth. And it opens them both really wide, and you can see this silvery, like, mercurial liquid just oozing out from between its jaws. And with a great... I know. It regurgitates this bubble of liquid metal that hovers in the air in front of it. And it sort of flicks its head into it and the bubble pops into 6 smaller bubbles that sort of shudder and take shape into 6 rectangles, these beautiful glimmering rectangles of mercury that seem to have text and inscrutable runes floating on all of them. And each of them sort of stills to bear a symbol amidst the shifting runes. One with a teardrop, one with something that looks like a waving rectangle or a blanket or a river or something. Another that looks like a cloud. One that looks like a tower. What is that? That's 4. Okay. One that looks like 2 chains crossed over in an X, and one that looks like an eye. These are my gifts, young puppet. They are the tablets, my great tablets, and each of them bears a part of my wishes, the wishes of this form. They will be bestowed in time to this cycle. And as our great guide, we would offer you the first. Should you choose one, of course.
I'll accept what you have to offer.
Which tablet should you choose? And it noses one after another. The teardrop. Sorrow. The river blanket. Veils. Oh my god, my name's. The cloud. Storm. The tower. Ruin. The chains. Binding. The eye. Clarity.
Clarity.
An excellent choice. And in a single feral movement, this worm head eats the other 5. Just and it whips back down and nudges this tablet with the eye towards you. And as it comes closer to you, its liquid properties sort of still and solidify into this glittering tablet of stone and steel and light as the runes start to prickle and glow with this brilliant purple shade. And so too does the eye as it drifts towards you. Such is the boon of Halifax. You and this are bound now. Indeed.
Yeah.
She was pretending to be the snake.
Yes.
Role-playing as Halifax. Yeah.
That's nice.
May you bestow it and use it upon those you see fit. Now. And it sort of retracts that small part of itself back into its greater bulk and resizes again, staying in that large island-spanning form. What would you do with us? This form needs a space. Would you have us stay here, on our place of landing claim? Or would you take us henceforth as our guide? We will do as you see fit, O gracious, generous puppet.
Where would you like to go?
I would grow where I lie, taking root. I have not been led to do such before. Bargains and deals. The gods wish for what they cannot have. And this time, this would like a hold of its own. You did guide me to this spot.
All right. I think I can work something out. I would like to create a space connected to my domain
Sure.
for Halifax to have of his own, or its own, their own.
They is always safe.
Yeah.
They is
They is
always
always
the safe
safe.
pronoun. When in doubt.
Like sort of tangentially linked to your domain, but almost like a space it can go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. What does that mean for you?
Something. I think this space is something that's like I don't know. It's to me. I picture this huge meadow of just grasses and flowers, and that leads into a forest. And in the forest, in the middle of the forest, there's this circular grove where the trees form around it, and that's where
It can like wriggle and slumber.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Its eyes sort of gleam with this brilliant mercurial fluid that looks at you. The one who pulls your strings is kind. Flowers will do well. Very well indeed. This shall join you there. And for a time, this shall stay. But first, if you will allow us, we would spread what this has begun. As it sort of looks around the beginnings of this isle it's sort of seated in. Would you give us this grace?
Do as you please.
Beautiful. We will see you in your abode anon. A pleasure, gracious puppet. A pleasure indeed. And these two mouths twine upwards and downwards into this like comedy drama smile thing as it like begins to shrink and pucker and shrink and pucker as if a plug had been pulled in the bottom of a bathtub. It drains down to the center of the crater, spiraling, and with a last like grin, it is swallowed by the crater until you can see 5 inky, milky strands appear under the water. Branching out.
Keep going, it's great.
I would like to retire. 5 pearlescent globules, perhaps.
Oh!
Yeah, thank you. 5 white filaments. Are we good there?
I'm flushing now for some reason.
These just 5 like tendrils of itself appear under the water and branch out almost star-like from the center of the island. Pearlescent globules, yeah. Trickling pearlescent globules. God fucking damn.
Sorry.
That
We're
is
doing
someone's
so well.
cake.
Yeah.
Someone
out there is
speaking to like dirty talking in that manner. That is someone's cake.
Great.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, give me your
White
pearlescent
globulins.
globules.
I threw off your groove.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It just spreads out into these 5 strands underneath the island, breaching out like about, I would say, a mile or so, maybe more in each direction. But its physical form is gone. And even without that much thought, just you thinking it, you can feel this extra dimensional meadow-like space blossoming in your domain somewhere. For all intents and purposes, you and the Pegasus are alone. With this now tablet of stone and metal hovering in front of you. Are we good? Just shaken up. Great.
I apologize. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I'll take a drink.
I'll grab the stone. Just hold it, and I turn to the Pegasus, and I just say to it in our little telepathic communication that we have, you are called Swift.
And it gives a long nod.
You are free to do as you please, but you are my servant.
And sort of shakes its mane, and with those crystalline geode-like wings, it does a couple beats and swoops around and underneath you until you, even with your own wings, sort of are now mounted atop it.
Dope.
You hope...
didn't
those
say
are the
anything.
words.
I did not say anything.
I really hope that was diegetic. I hope you went dope.
Absolutely.
The sunglasses
Nevrik a
just like...
horse girl?
Canon. Dope, the word dope has been created.
So now,
Along with the Pegasus.
somewhere in your domain, there is a poster, like an 8x12 poster of a unicorn, like prancing like this, rampant, with the night sky behind.
And it says dope.
And the star is spelled dope.
Yeah, great. It's like
Star
a Aladdin,
spelled dope.
Lion King, whatever.
We fly back to Brighthorn to meet up with everyone else.
Okay.
And I have to figure out what... because the moon appeared in the sky, and I have no idea what happened with that. So.
Yeah. You have a sense that you're tethered to it in some way, but you don't obviously know what exactly happened to it. Speaking of which...
Somebody tried to log into your Google account.
Was this you? Was this you?
Hey, listen.
It seems like you're trying to make a new domain. Is that what you meant to do?
Do you need help with that?
Clippy can help.
Confirm or deny?
Speaking of which, you are, Oonan, floating in the upper atmosphere. This moon having solidified above you, made from debris and sheer will. Do you know how it's layered? How it is structured?
I would say that, and I'm gonna think of that right now on the spot, and I already got it. So like,
Fucking nice.
so the hearth is kind of like, if I had remembered it correctly, like to us it is big, like spinning space station essentially.
Yeah.
But to those on the planet, it appears as
like a sun.
The sun.
Because basically, if you were to look, if you, Oonan, were flying like Superman right outside the hearth, you would see the crystalline, like, non-Euclidean structure of the hearth basically floating right below the fucking sun.
Okay.
And the sun is almost illusory. It's like part of the hearth, but it's projected that way from above it, from Lars' chambers.
Got it. Okay. In that case, I believe it's going to be it's not a fully circular moon. Like the part that faces the planet is like does present as moon.
As moon.
But then the other end would be kind of more like a not like a perfect like flat edge, but more like rocky and jagged. And in that there is like the like kind of attached to it,
right?
Like growing
it
out
almost
of it.
looks like a meteor, right? You've got the moon and then like jagged edge coming back off the back of it, pointed.
It is like anti-Earth or
yeah. It's like half but pointed this way, laterally.
Yes,
kind of.
And I feel like it's going to be just a far more simplistic space.
Spartan
in itself, and once we go there, I'll think of more like details of like inside.
The whole thing is furnished with IKEA.
Yes.
You define IKEA. Okay. Yeah. So with this, the beginnings of this being formed, at least it being a hub for your domain spaces, your prime domains, what are you doing?
I intend to continue to be pouring energy towards it. Like I feel like I did like a lump,
Yeah.
like a chunk of it. Like
You spent your 6. Basically.
yeah, and got it to like maybe like 80% completed. And now just trying to like continue to siphon like not too much of the god core, but like a good amount of my own vitality of ether.
Sure.
And kind
You're
of
just like essence, right?
slowly siphoning it to like integrate it and power it.
Yeah.
So that it is less like a and more like a
You're
thing that is
funneling it. Yeah.
But once I feel as though that is happening and the stream is steady,
Sure.
I'll return back down to the
Okay.
I guess I astral project. So Unan's godly form is like just before the moon, and just like
Doing the thing.
Yeah, if you were to look, you would see just kind of like light slowly emanating, or like a almost like negative light, like black light,
Yeah.
emanating towards it, and like but otherwise face like inert, and then just like realm walking form appears near Brighthorn just as like an extension.
Yeah. I'm very big on that. First of all, can you roll me an Ünen check?
Yes.
Oonan check. We need a phrasing redemption on our stream.
Yeah, literally just to say that. Phrasing.
Do we get advantage on our checks? Oh no.
Not always.
Okay. I didn't roll well though. 17.
17? Okay. What is your primary focus on the tone for the inside of the hearth? Or not the hearth, the anti-hearth, the moon.
I'll think of a good name
Yeah.
for it. Definitely, it's a good. It is simplistic, and minimalist, but not like crude.
Sure.
It's very sleek.
Animus-esque.
Yes.
Yeah, like.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the back of Unan's mind, he's just like, I'm not an interior decorator. Ystävä and Nevrik will figure this the fuck out. But yeah, just very, very simplistic. Just has like a main control room almost that is similar to the Starkeep, I guess.
Yeah.
Little less fucking gaudy. God.
Like sort of like Jedi Council room,
Yes.
but like sharper and sleeker than that, less
Yes.
ostentatious Coruscant.
And I would say that like and I don't know how. Definitely, you can still from the like structure and from there you could still see Regolus. So I guess it's not like completely hidden by the moon, but like you can't see it from Regolus.
I mean, you could see the same way that you can see from the hearth. From inside the hearth, you cannot. The sun doesn't exist,
That's fair.
right? So
Okay,
from like
cool.
inside the,
You can see through it.
You can see straight through the moon.
Dope. That makes
You
sense.
know what's great is that Law can see the moon from the hearth.
You fucking
She has to
bet.
fucking
You
stare at it.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're.
and then like those are the main two. That structure of space would be that, and then also a similar thing of like doors for domains.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, those are there right now anyway.
Yes.
Just sort of if you haven't built a space for them, and of course some of this we can build, as we go along.
Yeah.
But my question in terms of domain, your 3 domains have definitely been dragged through.
Mm-hmm.
How are we feeling about Hylan and Midnight? Have you dragged them in?
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't think that is not my current
Intention.
goal.
Okay.
I right now a lot of energy is being put forth towards just like
like creating a space.
Just juicing her up.
Yeah. Yep. Great. Great. So, to that point, as you're mostly spending your energy doing this and sort of basically crafting a projection downstairs near Brighthorn,
Really loud, I'm sorry.
Ystävä, not that it necessarily affects you, but as you're down on Brighthorn, you can start to feel the air like way less. As you're looking at Luna and Midnight sort of work their way around the mound of bodies, these bodies start to just drift upwards a little bit. They're not going to float away into space, but the ties that bind things to the ground, gravity, is just like notched a little weaker. And like you can watch their steps sort of, or at least Luna's steps are sort of, she bounces a little more. As this is all going on, as you can see this light sort of wending its way up towards this new source of light in the sky, this moon. What are you doing?
I'm going to trust that is a temporary thing and it's not a permanent thing. Where is Midnight?
Midnight is in the corpse pit, reaping, as Luna is administering last rites.
And Yui is walking around.
Yui is sort of like, taking stock with Hylan, basically. They seem to be having a little conversation, more with actually Yui talking to Hylan, and Hylan doing some of the listening. But they're off in the central island now, looking at the statue, and they're looking around a little bit, wondering. You can even see from here, there are heads out of windows, there are doors open, people are looking like this. The small village that is Brighthorn is attentive.
Nevrik, can you hear me?
I can.
I think this earth here needs to be cleansed. I think, you know how you burn a field to make it ready for the next harvest? I think all of the land around here needs to be burned. I want to know your thoughts.
The people?
No. No. The land.
Right. Just the land around the people.
Yes.
Are we going to... Hear me out. Are we going to burn... Are we going to relocate the people, burn the land, bring them back? Or are we just going to... You know, I mean...
You know,
burn
let me try
around,
something.
you
You know,
know,
this,
burn
this
around the
sounds like a
edges.
stupid idea now. Let me try something
Burn the
else.
people, relocate the land, and then bring them back.
I get down on my knees in what I assume is mud and grossness. And I'm going to stick
Viscera.
my fingers in the ground and
Yeah, oh yeah, I see you.
and then I'm going to pump
We're making a lot of
That-
sounds during this.
Yeah, like,
session.
This is a very, this is a
Ow.
very sensual and sexual sounding episode for all of these just simply practical things that
Yeah.
we're doing.
Okay, practical, scorching the fucking earth with godfire. I don't know how, like, humanely practical that is. Please, continue.
I said it was practical.
It's a metaphor for chlamydia.
Oh no.
I'm going to pump in that cleansing fire energy without creating a fire.
Okay.
And then right behind it, I'm going to pump in that life-giving rebirth energy that I have in almost like a druidic sort of ritual.
Like consecrate. Isn't there a spell?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like hallow or something.
Yeah, but this is like, it's
This
like
is
that
like
but on steroids.
more like juiced up. Okay, is your intention to actually like rend the organics from the soil here, like to actively physically set this alight with divine flame, or just to like surge it with energy to purify it?
I am the fever that's burning away the sickness.
Roll me an Ystävä check right now, right here, right
I
now.
haven't even got my dice out.
You're a
okay?
you're a Ystävä touching
I am
the entire planet. Like
Get my fingers in it.
That's all I needed to hear.
The sickness of these fucking crazy.
An Ystävä check. Do-do-do-do-do. That is a 27.
27, yeah, you just like basically throughout this whole evening's event, enough has been enough for you. and you sink your hands into the earth as if you were placing your, what's the best way to physically describe this? Your hands sink as easily into the earth as if you were dipping your hand into water. Right? It just seeps through the soil, and you let your energy pour out of you, and as soon as that essence touches the ground, all the grass alights with this, like, the tips of the flames are this brilliant white, pure white, and as the flame sort of trickles down to its hottest part, it's almost this nebulous cosmic gas at the core of the flames that just wends out from you in a wave. And as it washes across you, the soil itself almost turns to somewhere between sand and glass. And as this fire washes across the corpses that are being reaped and administered, the wounds, the heinous, like, decay on these corpses washes away. Like paint or dried blood, leaving at least more clarified, more peaceful bodies in their wake. But this heat singes everything, and it washes away in a slow pulse, first from the southern island that you were on, washing across the church. The church fucking erupts in beautiful, glittering white fire. Looks like a beacon, a celebratory bonfire wending into the night sky. It leaves the houses mostly untouched, but the statue that Yui and Hylan are looking at melts and begins to trickle down, feature by feature. And it's still unformed. It's still like in the process of melting as the fire continues to push away, down, across the water, boiling the water away as it leads towards the shore, and approaching the actual sand of the beach, which turns to this beautiful black stone. I assume you're not done yet, right?
No.
Yeah. How far are you looking for this flame to reach?
Do I sense any more sickness in the area?
Define sickness.
Fucking rad, bro.
Corruption.
That's sick.
Corruption of the mortal variety? Or of the mental variety?
Of the mental or the mortal? Talk to me about both.
Let's talk about metaphysics.
Yeah.
The
Hi.
mortal corruption, meaning, the folly of those who don't live forever and can't, whether they want to or not, right? The failing of the body and the madness that people go to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
And mental corruption, as in that, like, Tyra.
Mm-hmm.
This bent thought process that strives towards godhood without any conception of the barriers that should lie between such thoughts and such truths. The answer can be both, too.
I'm going to do... No, last episode I got fed up with that dude, so I'm still fed up. So it's, I'm anybody who's fucking crazy. I want to Talia them from, the Rick Riordan series.
Yeah,
I want them to turn into trees. But so this is what I'm thinking, and you can tell me if we can't do this. Cleanse. What follows after that? New growth, which is that druidic, like, bring back to life stuff.
Yeah,
which
I'm
can then,
with you.
like,
I'm with you. You can sense more of that at the larger reaches of your mind, further away and further west.
Okay.
There is not a ton of that on further east.
I was like,
Okay.
we are west.
Yeah, I fucked myself.
I mean, if you go far enough west, you're east.
Yeah, east.
I'm in danger.
East.
I mean,
You can sense some of the
But
basically
in the vicinity...
in the vicinity. There's not a lot of the same sickness that afflicted, or same corruption that afflicted Tyro. There's some of it in this town, a little bit, but they're already being cleansed. If so.
Okay, well then I won't worry about that. I'll just worry about the land itself.
Okay. So like into the forest a little bit and up into the surrounding like grasslands.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I'd like to leave where the stone, the statue of Hylan was, a piece of that glassy just in a perfect circle.
Great. Do you want it to just be around where the statue was, or the remains of the statue to be like enveloped in that growth? Brilliant. So you send that first cleansing fire. You can start to hear a few like screams of horror before they're briefly snuffed out inside the home, so the flames you can't see like burning the houses themselves. And with that second pulse of cleansing and regrowth, the flames that are wending around the chapel, that church, sort of like flare upwards and then buckle back down before these beautiful branch-like shards of obsidian break through the church, leaving this almost like a large dead baobab tree of black stone. And the same is this beautiful like encroachment, this spike of obsidian now in the place where that statue was. And some of these growths overtaking some places of like pockmarked land and ruined soil across the islands. And as you're in the middle of this last step of regrowth, and you, Nevrik, are flying your way across the sea, and you are reconstituting the moon while also sending a projection down for all of you. For you, it's exceptionally bright very, very quickly. It's as if a brilliant midday summer sun erupted into the sky. A beautiful, flaring hot light. For the pair of you down on Regolus, it's as if suddenly it was daytime in the middle of the night. This pinprick of white-hot light in the sky that pulses warmth over everything. And as it washes over the three of you, your senses cloud into a pure white gold space. And all three of you are standing in the middle of this beautiful white gold aurora. In the middle of nothing.
Do we see each other?
And you see each other,
Okay.
absolutely. You look like in your usual non-disguised but realm-walking forms.
We've been summoned.
I'm the man in the suit this time. Or am I?
I mean you're Ystävä.
I'm just
right?
Ystävä?
You're,
Oh, okay.
You're Ystävä as you would be if you were realm walking without any pretenses.
Okay, cool.
Right. Same with the pair of you. And in this aurora, it is warm, it is soothing. Sort of this like effortless gold light wending everywhere as it sort of wends and binds together in front of you in the air before flashing and solidifying into the angular, floating, bent shape of La, the potter, hovering there. That like strands of sunlight that make up the bulk of from where their sort of nose is upwards, just hovering in midair. They flick their wrist, and again, congealed from that golden light, this egg of amber appears. Crystalline amber, in which is a fetal, curled, naked body of Godwin. La hovers there. Explain, children.
You go first.
Yeah.
Do not test me. Explain.
If we had known what you were doing down there, we might not have done it, so we actually need you to explain.
I do not owe my children anything but your existence. It was not your right to meddle in affairs of worship that was not due to you. The tithe works as a great ladder. You do not misstep on the way up. There was no reason for you to be in such a feeding trough. Nor do I expect any of you to understand. But I ask you to explain your reasoning behind why you dismantled such a tithe.
Let me ask you something. Have you been down there? Truly been down there?
It does not matter. The tithe works the same. Why should it matter what it is like on the surface?
Because if you were truly down there, if you were there with them, you would not let them do this.
Do what?
Commit the heinous atrocities that they have done to creations that you yourself have created, that Kirahan has created, that we have helped grow and learn and change, and for you to treat them this way.
Treat them the way they were designed to be treated? Perhaps you misunderstand the nature of these sculptures.
Why do you give them free will if you intend to play with them as if they are toys?
Free will?
Well, they make their own choices. They do their own. Well,
I disagree.
I also disagree.
As is evidenced by the new body hovering above this fair world. Disagreement is abound. Am I to believe this is your doing as well?
It was mine.
Roll me a deception check.
Mm. 18.
Okay. She does that sort of Wen snap across the space to you. And that's when you can see how much distance there was, because she towers over you. She's sort of at level.
Mm-hmm.
I intercede and in between. Ystävä, there's no reason for you to lie.
It was not a lie. It was my idea.
We're all Spartacus here.
It is my creation. If you do not plan on telling us what you were doing down there, fine.
I was doing the work of a god. She wends and snaps back to where she was next to the amber egg. You do not, and perhaps could not, fathom such depths. And that is my mistake, for believing that children were yet ready to tread upon unsullied ground.
If you don't give us all the information, how do you expect us to understand?
I had hoped that my progeny could practice self-control as those that have come before have. But it does not matter now. The ladder is broken, and your moon hangs in the balance, does it not? What is the purpose of this object?
I have a few memories. I'm not entirely certain if they are my memories, or if I'm even having them. But I remember him creating you. He was very excited. Immediately proud.
The air is cold. The gold turns silver.
For a very long time, I did not know my purpose in this existence. But I have decided what it is. You love this creation, as I do, as we all do. But you as far as I have seen, have missed the point. It's not for us. So, my decision has been to exist outside of what you have created. Because mistakes can be made. Some atrocities may happen, be it natural or immoral. But there is a line. There is a line for them, and there's a line for us. I intend to keep that line. And I want to try to break this, like, the space that we're in and get us out.
How would you like to attempt to do that?
Just a very quick and I assume surprising burst of energy, in the same way that, like, if somebody was like, we're holding you, and then like time has passed for a while and like they're not actively thinking about it, and you can like just like with a quick move disrupt it enough to slither away. So if that means I have to redirect a little bit of energy from making the moon, just as like almost like a flashbang of just like
just yeet
and yank us out of there.
Can I help? Because I was thinking Nevrik gets the heebie-jeebies from La, and the one thing that he would be trying to do in this moment is try to get the hell out of here.
Okay. You all can certainly try. I am going to need a threshold pantheon check. Or a new god check. If there was a name for the group of you, I'm going to need whatever your specific Nevrik, Ystävä, Oonan checks are. I'm going to need you to all roll them. And it's going to have to meet a certain margin.
This would be the time for all of us to get in that 20.
To breach La's influence here. Because I'm liking this. You're all, for once, of an exact mind.
Cheers.
This is cute. Make them kiss. May,
now,
what is it? What's the dice god's name?
Halifax.
Halifax be with us.
May Halifax be with us.
I've never been happier to hear anything else at a table. In fact, you know what? Where's my Halifax die? Here it is. There it is.
Can it also be our first wish?
What's your proficiency right now?
7.
7.
I wanted a nat 20.
Okay. Before I add this, Nevrik, are you invoking Halifax on this? Very seriously. In fact, no, actually, sorry. The three of you just said, as three people sitting at this table, may Halifax be with us?
Yeah.
So Halifax is being added. Okay. What have you got?
I'm excited to help. Fuck that bitch. I'm here for chaos and good times. 23.
20. Okay, let me do something.
Let you math.
Yeah. Is there a calculated function in? No, there's not. It's fine.
I can also add.
It's fine. I'm good. Okay.
24.
You
get like a 70. Did you somehow roll a 7?
No, plus 27 to that 27.
27. Okay, so that's okay, and then
Halifax got a 19. You did need Halifax's help. You needed Halifax's help,
All
but
right.
you got through the margin there. You got through the margin. What is that? Okay, but you did okay. You did okay.
Essentially, this is powerful speech. Drop the mic.
So, sort of again feeling not the exact telepathy, but the like.
Spidey senses.
Yeah. From
That's very quiet.
as Oonan is speaking, you feel like, okay. You're just sort of letting that energy charge. You know, like in a
Friends, be with me.
like a fighting game when you build your energy meter
Yes.
by pressing the X.
Or like
It's
in a
doing
Naruto
that.
game where
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
ha!
Like build the
Oh,
energy.
gosh.
Or D-
it's
or
like
DBT.
mounting within you, and as soon as you like that, the domino effect of you sort of like letting your energy burst, it chains, right? You each sort of like, okay, let's get the fuck out. And this energy just sort of vibrates and flares from all of you, and even in this projected space, wherever it is on you, that tablet burns white hot. And as La is like sort of reaching out towards the amber egg and looking like they're going to say something, they notice this energy and they reach out, but before they can really do anything, there is a beautiful like ray of silvery moonlight that just pierces this space and envelops the three of you in a moonbeam,
Yes.
and the image is gone.
I take us to the new hearth.
There's some glitter left over. So just give like a.
That slowly forms in your
And just in the middle finger, and then
It's like raining down on law and in her hair.
The dark mark, right? It's like that, but like of like starlight.
You're not my mom.
You're not my mom. Okay. The three of you sort of become aware of this like twilight tinged silvery space. Like sharp edges, marblescent in nature, with a view out front of this sort of like great circular window down towards Regolus. Are there any seats in this space? In the Starkeep
I think it's
space?
unfurnished, right?
Unfurnished?
It's like we
Yeah.
just bought our Sims home, but
It's
we
open.
haven't. We
Open
bought it
floor.
unfurnished.
Starter
Yeah,
home.
Yeah,
it's a starter
it's got
home.
this
Oonan
marble
doesn't think
floor.
sit
Yeah.
because he doesn't
He
think
doesn't even think
stand.
walk,
He's
so-
just he is just floating.
There is, as you find yourself in this space. Oh, hi. Hi. Halifax. Halifax's influence returns again.
Hey guys.
As you guys come to in this sort of this moonlit marble space, you all feel a sharp prickling burn right about at the level of your sternum, and as you feel it, you see each in front of you initially hovering in air in front of your sort of sternum space. There is a circle drawn in like dark flame with 4 like rays coming off of it, and then down the middle one long line bisecting the whole thing. You can feel it prickling even as you see it in front of you. You can feel it almost on your own forms before that sigil sort of swoops in, fades through whatever clothes you're purporting to wear in your realm morphing forms, and you feel like a sharp twinge before things settle into a warmth and then a chill. And if you were to examine your realm walking chests, you would find that sigil almost etched. Not burned, not carved, but like etched. Just a shade duller than whatever your realm walking skin tone shade is, right on your sternum. And whatever feeling you had to the world beacon before is gone.
Does that include like Vikstar and Damino?
For now.
Well, you haven't travelled to their domains without being in the half before. All I'm saying is the access to the Hearth's world beacon. No, you can no longer feel it.
Doesn't necessarily mean we can't sense them.
Yeah, the laws change the locks.
Right. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd known for just 1 second, you'd be back to bother me.
I wasn't ready for. I was like, wait, where's it? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Go on now, go.
Thank you. So speaking of Go On Now Go, as you're standing here in this space with this symbol etched into you in this moment of quiet after the last 12 hours have been hell on Regolus, we're going to take a brief break. Go to the bathroom. For those of you at home, go to the bathroom.
Unclench your buttocks.
Woody, spend your 6 wherever you are. I beseech of you.
What does that mean? Sorry, I don't know what that means.
I sometimes forgot what it means, so I've used it so often in my common tongue, and it's a reference to a specific kind of movement and breath technique that we were taught by Norm.
I do know
Yeah,
what
there
you're
are, like,
talking
Yeah,
about.
I was
levels.
trying to figure out why I knew what spend your
And
6
like
was,
tension,
but I was
and
like,
6
what
is in
that?
theory the highest level of tension,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
climax moment in the scene or whatever.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Okay.
Woody, the sub.
Thank you for the sub, Wholesome, and thank you for the sub, Woodman1129.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are.
Who's
Whoever
that dude?
you
I
are.
don't know.
Also, don't come for Halifax, Woody. You don't know anything about this Halifax.
I do
don't
like
know.
how Halifax potion seller is now a god.
Now a god?
The dice god?
You don't know that that's
Oh, I
what,
think he
not what they
was-
were the whole
I
way
think he
through.
was,
Oh my goodness. That's
Uh,
so cool.
Before.
So, good stuff. Go get a drink, get a snack. We'll do the same, and we'll come back in, let's say... Oh, easy. Look at that. Right at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right at 8
15.
o'clock.
Later.
8:15. And that'll be that.
All right, guys.
Love
See you
all
shortly.
so
Be right back.
much.
Yoink! We are back in part 2 of the Act 1 finale. So,
Yes.
folks, grab your drinks, buckle in, because we've got to go back to the moon. The three of you, having just managed to use your divine powers to break free of Lars' sort of mental grasp, you are now in the barren but clean, well-polished observing room of this new lunar structure. Out from the window here, you can see, in the background you can see Regulus, and in the foreground you can actually see the bulk of Ühnen's form, realm walking form, out there, as well as being in this space, sort of like full god mode, eyes like glittering with opalescent light, just sort of still summoning energy into this, into the moon, into this new structure. But the three of you are here. The space is quiet. All of you, before we get any further, roll me a perception check.
Sorry, Ava.
23.
23, okay.
This is when I rolled a natural 20.
Okay.
Not when we need it most.
Just when we're looking around.
Yeah.
What's that?
I got
Solid.
a 21.
Okay.
No. Yes.
I think the pair of you, you're mostly focused on yourself. You're mostly focused on the new space you're in and the big middle finger you've just designed for your future.
I'm focusing on the design and the
Yeah, the
interior
grand
design of
design.
it.
Nevrik, far down the way, if your attention looks towards Regolus, if you look towards the continent that you can see, the main continent, on the middle and upper segment of the western coast, you can see white light trickling all up and down the edge of the continent. Can I get a concentration check from you?
Mm-hmm. I just blanked. What do I add to a concentration check?
It's Constitution
My-
plus,
okay.
I believe.
Because
Rules of
concentration check, if you're trying to keep something, is you just roll above a 10.
It's Constitution.
It's still you add Constitution, but I forget if you add your proficiency to it as well.
We do the roll above a 10 because of I think that was a Woody rule to make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going. I'm looking at it now.
But like as a caster, having a high Constitution is important
Make a
because you can
Constitution.
hold
Okay.
concentration
It's
better.
so it is. The rule is when you take damage while you're concentrating on a spell, you must use Constitution saving throw to maintain your concentration, adding proficiency, of course, if you have proficiency in con saves.
Yeah, it's a Constitution saving throw.
So it's Constitution saving throw.
Cool. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Yeah. That white light still prickles away.
What? I don't know this, so I'm thinking about chair.
The burning.
I don't see it.
You see that white light?
It's still like shining brightly, or
I
is
mean,
it, like,
only bright
fading
enough that you can
slowly?
see it. It's shining brightly.
Okay.
And it stretches about from the top of the western coastline down to about almost halfway down. It sort of peters away. But otherwise, the three of you are here. The space is yours.
Details about it?
Yeah, sorry. Do I know that it's coming from Ystävä?
You see the white light?
Okay.
I have an idea for some seats.
Mm-hmm.
You can hate them and I can change them, it's fine. But let me make them and then tell me what you think. I wave my hand and 3 stone seats appear kind of in a semicircle by the window. Very much like the Jedi Temple in Coruscant.
Great.
But these they're
Backs
like
to the window?
backs to the window, yes.
Okay.
And it's the color of like moon, but it's like a stone, moonstone, if you will.
But of course.
Of course. Yes.
And they all look the same.
Equality.
Go sit in the middle one.
I do.
When he sits in the middle one,
Please.
it ever so slightly hovers off the ground. And you know when like something in movies it's hovering, it's kind of like fuzzy, blurry underneath? It's just there, kind of hovering. And the sides of the stone are etched with scales. Like weighing scales.
Oh, sure. Okay.
In gold that go up the sides, and then they decorate.
But only while he's sitting in it.
Only
Right.
while he's sitting in it.
Like that long.
Choice.
And then I have him get out. Go sit in the chair. Same chair.
Same chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It actually doesn't float.
Mm.
What emotion is Nevrik feeling in this moment right now?
Oh, I have to.
Just
anger.
one.
Still.
Is it
It's
still?
still the same
Anger?
day.
This has happened in one day.
Is anger
This is
associated
the
with
seventh
lightning?
day.
The chair, along the sides of the chair, it like etches blue lightning, and then up the back, it like is this like still lightning that pulses.
So like fringing out of the top of the chair, but like crackling there. Yeah.
Yes, and it will change depending on the emotion every time you sit. Okay, my turn.
Get out!
Now.
And I go and I sit. And it becomes almost translucent, but it's like it on the inside is that floating black Hot Topic glitter. It's like I'm sitting on the god's
Cloud
sleep.
of it. Yeah.
Nice.
Every chair is ours, but when you sit, it is your chair. And I'll make one for midnight when he shows up, because he's going to come over here.
You're right.
He has no choice.
I'm sorry to have done this without consulting with either of you.
I think it was a great decision. I fully support it. So, no worries.
Yes.
It is, as you would say, dope.
Is that a word that I simply have not heard? Or is it new?
I thought of it earlier.
What does it mean?
Something highly favorable.
Great.
Dope.
What do we call ourselves?
I love how, even as gods,
We're
we
idiots.
still have to name the party.
God
Are
damn
you
it.
fucking kidding me,
This
bro?
is D&D at its finest. I did not think of that.
Maybe we worry about that later.
Names have weight, you know.
Ah! Hello?
This figure in like just very simple, shabby leathers and like a grey, like off-white tattered tunic walks from the threshold of this room in the back, sort of where the chairs are facing, right? If the back is of the chairs are on the window, it's facing the threshold of the room. So I don't think it's really a door yet, it's just a passageway, right?
You don't need doors.
Walks in, silvery hair, bright yellow eyes, just lanky, sort of leathery skin. They walk in. Very important to give yourselves names. At some point, of course. That way, people will know what to call you. And knowing what to call one is crucial.
I don't.
Crucial.
I don't know you.
Of course. We have not yet met.
Oh.
You may call me Halifax. 'Tis a pleasure.
Another chair pops up.
Oh, is that for me?
Mm-hmm.
He sort of like gets low and like tiptoes over to it and
God, we have our own Kirahan.
settles into the chair. And as he settles into the chair just goes away.
Of course.
And he's just sitting in the air. Like, resting on where the arm of the... However the chairs are designed, right? There's still, like, physical evidence that it's there. It just doesn't appear.
Halifax.
Great.
I'm glad you could join us.
Oh, but I do not mean to intrude, you see, but there was a door left for me, and I simply walked right on through it, wouldn't you know?
I guess I should catch you guys up.
Mm-hmm.
The falling comet, this celestial body, if you will, was hurtling toward the Earth. Or Regulus. It contained, in seemingly a slumber, Halifax in this worm-shaped form, and he landed, with my guidance, onto the ocean, created an island in this way, and also the concept of wishes.
Indeed.
I felt that when it happened.
Most pleasing.
So that was you.
Yes, one. I speak for that which it was, that which I am, and that which we were.
I like you.
I think we'll get along quite fine. Quite fine indeed. I see you've made yourselves some new lodgings here. This is the first, I must say. Though there was a second and third at one point. That caused some trouble for some. But we haven't quite got there yet. This will do for now. Certainly they were never inhabited the way this one is. Hardly so, hardly so. What is the purport? The gist?
Of this place?
Yes. Quite.
I think, Oonan, you said it best when we were speaking with Mummy, dearest. She's not my mum.
she's
I hated
With
that.
Mummy, dearest, disclaimer, she's not my mother, Jim.
With mom? My mom.
It's like the legal disclaimer at the end of every medicine ad, but every time you refer to her as Mummy, dearest, straight to the camera. She's not my mum, TM.
She's not my mom. She's never been my mom.
She
If
has
she
no
ever says
real
that she's
claim
my
to
mom, please
parentage.
call me. I will sort it out.
Call Binder and Binder.
What?
You must have been in a fugue state
what did I
because
say?
that speech was beautiful. That we have drawn a line between us and the other gods. In that these creations and our duties within it are not for us.
Oh, very good. Very good indeed.
I hope to think. I want to view it as not a line between us and them, though that might be how it is.
Well, why? Why should there be one?
Well, there are just fundamental differences in belief. So naturally a line may occur, but
I believe I meant more line metaphorically. Line of action. And I don't know where it is, but I know that what law has done was far past it.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe in a few hundred years she'll realize that she did something she should not have, and we'll all make up and be a happy family again. However, I think what you did was the right thing to show that we don't stand with her. And I hope Midnight and Hylan don't, and I hope Yui doesn't. And maybe her more direct descendants can also help her see the light.
How many does she have?
Too many. I'm sorry, that was rude.
Catchy.
5? There's Damiano, Vikstar. Who else? Kirahan, Aldwin,
Sindar.
and Sindar.
Technically, I am a direct descendant.
Once removed. You're Sindar's child.
Oh,
So you're
that's
really...
very new.
You're really the one who
But-
betrayed her.
Still, 5, yes.
5, yes. Why
Yes.
do you ask?
It differs. 5 makes sense. 5 is usual.
For what?
This? Just weighing the scales, balancing where we are upon arrival. I just got here, you see.
Uh-huh.
I have to make sure all the notes are taken properly. Now, I am on the side that is interesting, and this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite at peace with settling in as he just sort of lounges across the chair that isn't there. Well, they're great. Let's tilt this way. I'm quite content with making myself comfortable here for a time, if I'm allowed to do so. I am allowed to do so. I have been allowed to do so. But I'm here now. And I would be happy to assist, as need be. I'll be in and out. I have things to do, places to see, boxes to check and whatnot. But I'm not going anywhere.
Great.
Not just yet. So if you have need of me, all you need to do is call, as I am sure one would call each other in such a time.
Is he in the group chat? The brr brr.
I don't know.
Maybe we make a new one.
Like a separate Discord thread.
There's
yeah,
like
I mean,
a moon group
we're
chat.
we're gonna have the OG group chat, which is just 3 of us.
Yeah.
And then we'll add people, and then we might add him. 3 group chats.
All is well and good. I will say, I have a particular vested interest in those that roam around on the planet down there. Because especially the ones that don't live very long.
The humans.
Mm.
Whichever ones, you see. Because the ones that don't live very long, they're apt to strive. And that's what I like.
They feel the most strongly.
Feel, yes. Yes. There is pressure, you see, pressure to do what they want to do within certain moments. And I like to see that. Strength of will and whatnot. They have scads of it. Not to say that the others don't. How many others are there?
Too many to name. There's quite a few.
Already?
You will have a lot of
Yes.
time to explore.
And I think
yes.
by the day, there's new ones. New combinations and...
Would you mind if I worked on a project of my own?
As I said, you can do as you please.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. That which rests downstairs will definitely have a couple experiments to run, things to try. It's a unique position we find ourselves in. But as I said, all that notwithstanding, I'm here on the side that's interesting. So let me be of interest to you.
Thank you. Know too that while you are here, you also must abide by that line that has yet to be defined.
Well, of course. Of course, I see no reason to cross a line that does not yet exist. And in fact, I'm happy to help find where that lies, you know, to draw it in the proverbial sand.
As for name, I know not what to call this place. And we can table talk this because I had a great idea. So, yes, that's called the Hearth, but they're called the Crucible.
Oh.
We are the Inquisition.
I do love that video game.
Yes.
I don't
that
love
video
that
game.
historical
Yes, the historical
time.
stuff, not great.
Right. But
But it was an idea.
I
We can think of. Yeah, it's not an idea of what to name it as opposed to Hearth.
Welcome to Hearth.
Well,
Hearth.
that one's Hearth. This one's Hearth.
Really, that would be so funny.
No. That was,
Isn't Hearth?
but it was just an idea. We can figure out names as we go.
Mm-hmm. We have time.
We still and I brought us here out of instinct and safekeeping, but I know that there were still matters that you were attending to. Correct? What happened with the girl? I can sense her, so and I understand a little what that means, but after I left,
The humans were... They did not understand, and they thought the only way to get what they wanted was to go about it the way that Law had told them. And I showed them that there's a way to have hope, but also so they understood that they erred, extremely erred. And with Yui specifically, I don't know, I think something came over me and I just... We need somebody who will see what she sees. And it might be a mistake. And I will own it if that is the case. But
I'm very excited to meet her. In fact, I don't know if I can do this. Can I?
soft.
As for group chat, can I ping invites to the group chat?
The godly group chat.
Oonan
Like-
wants to invite you to a thread.
Essentially.
Do you accept?
Google Meet.
Click the Zoom link.
And the way that maybe it's more of like an invitation to a probationary room in which we can talk about things, to then which we can let them in or not
Right,
let them
it's
in.
the waiting room. of
Yeah,
Zoom.
like it's like, hey, come
Yeah.
come to my office, but you're gonna wait in the waiting room for a minute.
I mean, you can certainly try.
I guess I don't know. With her, it's maybe more of just like a invite, but in general, Yui, Midnight, and Hylan, as of now,
Yeah.
can be
Pinged.
as like, hey, this is here. There's a bit of a welcoming presence.
Come check it out.
You can come talk. And
Yeah.
if you're chill, you can hang out. And if you bring snacks, we'll be really happy about it.
Underneath the midnight, when I go midnight, you better get your ass here right now.
This is like a fucking choice, buddy.
You are my work husband.
Alright, hero.
And
Yeah, so
Woody
are you
can
sending
respond in the Twitch chat if you want it.
Yeah.
I think Woody's out actually.
I think his
Oh.
bus
After
lost.
suggesting that we name the place here Moonton.
It's one a lot of Bridgerton.
Moontown.
So are you sending out those pings?
Yes.
Okay. So you just sort of reach out with that God sense to sort of send your presence down. As you guys were talking about it, you look back and the chair is now visible and Halifax is gone.
Great.
Just not there. But the fourth chair is still there.
You're speaking though. I sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to I had thought of it and I was like, oh yes,
you're good.
send the signal.
No, I just want to add to that. Actually, well, not add to that, but table talk this. We talked about inviting, or just we can have a discussion about inviting some of the others from the Hearth as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it could be like the general sense of approaching the enemy lines and then being like, if anyone wants to defect, now is the moment.
We are offering
just-
you on a God.
And just kind of offering like, hey, you don't have to do it like we're. Yeah. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
extending more of like an open invite of like, this is who we are.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a new way of looking at things,
Join us.
come join our cult.
Vikestar, I said that you could come visit my domain whenever you wanted. Well, now you have a chance to visit an entirely new place to live.
Completely
Yes.
separate space. If you're looking to renege on your lease, now's a good time.
I am open to inviting them. Were you thinking of your mother?
I was. And Vikestar as well. And his brother, Damiino. I think Damiino himself could be a great asset. But
I will say
I don't know if we can separate the brothers. They are linked.
I will say we have, in Law's eyes, already transgressed quite severely. So I don't know if she would allow any of it.
That's fair.
But I do think that we should offer and try.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And my mother does what she wants anyway, so.
That is fair. But what we are doing is extreme.
It is. I agree.
And again, I thank you for joining me in this.
Without question.
Absolutely.
I get the sense that Yui, and maybe Hylan too, will want to be with us, but their lives before and now are more down there, much like Kirahan. So we'll wait to see, but I doubt we'll see them up here much. And perhaps the domains won't be here. Maybe they'll be elsewhere. If you can create this, what they could create could be something we don't even fathom yet.
Yes.
All right. What's next?
You guys can see Ünen is definitely kind of like showing some signs of like like weakness of just like sheer exertion, and is also like not actually here.
Unan's physical form out the window is looking less and less structured as well. It's looking less and less like a figure holding the arms out, and more like a you know when you see in media stars blinking in the distance, they sort of take some kind of like shape, a fractaline shape just of light, and that's sort of what Ünen is becoming. Ystävä, you can actually feel pieces of Ünen somewhere in your domain.
Ünen, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
I don't know, but I can feel you. Ew. Ew. I'm an adult.
Hey, Les.
I don't know, but I can feel you.
I'm so sorry, Kyle. Okay, we're children. Let's go.
We're fine.
I can feel
Anyways.
you inside my domain.
My domain, it's expanding with your presence.
Your pearlescent globules.
Oh God.
I will say it doesn't necessarily feel like
Deserve this.
you can feel Unan's like spirit starting to wander the halls of the fucking afterlife, but there's a part of or pieces of Ünen that you can feel almost intermingled with the
God
god sleep.
sleep.
Yeah.
Do you know if you'll be all right?
I know I'll be alright.
You do?
Yes.
I'm just worried because nothing like this has happened before.
Doing this was not easy. But it is. It is right. It is. It is. So I don't know what you're referring to, but this is my will.
Can I, in that God sleep space that Ystävä was weaved from,
Mm-hmm.
can I reach out to those, like, essences of Oonan?
You could try.
Essence of Ünen.
Oh,
What?
the Oonan.
As like Marion Cotillard like starts flying through the air. What are you looking to do with them? If you were able to reach them or reach out towards them, what's the goal for you there?
To listen.
Yeah. I'm not even going to need a check for it. As you can sort of like link your consciousness to the essence from which you were made. The elements of Oonan that drift within the god sleep, there's no like agony or discontent there. It's just like this hum. This vibration. Almost as if they are in resonance with the god sleep.
Mm-hmm.
There is a part of this vibration, this resonance between the god sleep and the particles of Oonan that feel, it's a little frightening, but also there is, for you specifically, some comfort in it.
Okay.
And even as you're sort of like letting your consciousness sort of address those, you can feel more of Oonan appear there.
Mm-hmm.
And this projection, as the star version of Oonan outside gets a little brighter and brighter, this projection is getting a little more translucent.
What do you feel?
I feel purpose. I feel good. I may not be able to join you on your adventures for a while.
What's a while?
What's a while?
With those words, the star flashes and dissipates, leaving in its wake a small, silvery orb that drifts through and towards this back great window, phases through with ease, and settles into the chest of the projection of Oonan, which drifts and sort of glitters as a almost sphere of energy around the god core, which then takes its shape and remains hanging in the air. Oonan, part of your consciousness remains with the god core, here on this moon base. You can function, exist, communicate to a degree from the god core.
I'm
Tweak and-
essentially the floating head in Power Rangers.
Sure, or even better,
Zordon.
Yeah.
the monitor from Halo, the guilty spark, the little like the thing, right?
Yes. Or like from any number of sci-fi
of
things.
that, right?
Yeah.
Edie from Mass Effect.
I'm the
before
shit.
she had it. Yeah, yes, precisely. For now, as the rest of you, you can feel this sphere of. I've done it millions of times.
It's the Y.
It's the Y thing.
name.
Ystävä, you can feel in the God sleep.
But it's not the same Y sound.
No.
You bet your ass it's not. Fuck yourself. These names are made up and fake.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ystävä, you can feel this, almost sense this sphere of radiant, iridescent energy resting within the God sleep and almost drawing energy from within it. And there is some power that surges through you, almost like you could wave your hand and the tides of gravity would beckon at your call as the first god slumbers in your domain. I'm going to put a brief role-playing pause on our gods here in this moment of quiet reflection in this new home for us. As the first of two curtains is drawn over Act 1 of Regulus Prime, this curtain being that scrim, right? The sheer, usually like grey curtain that you can still see the light shining through in this backlit scene here on the moon. As I'd like to talk to the three of you about a couple things, and ask you a couple questions about the next 10,000 years. No big deal. The details, obviously, like names and the flaws of the moon base, we can iron out as we go. But while we're here and with our friends, I'd love to hear from you what one or two goals for each of our gods here is for the next 10,000 years as the world below you develops. And that does include you, Oonan, because you will not be in the god sleep for all of that time.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the usual god sleep is 10,000 years. Yeah, I would love to just hear things that Nevrik, Ystävä, and Ünen would like to accomplish or try to achieve. And that can be as nebulous as, I want to burn the world, or I want to influence X or help make Y. You know, whatever that means to you, whatever a goal for a god means. I'm not going to pick on one of you to speak, whatever thoughts you might have. I'd love to hear it.
I know, after what Ünen just did, that Ystävä sets up in the afterlife a form of judgment.
Okay.
For the souls. I think that Ystävä has seen atrocities and knows that not everybody is capable of doing good.
Yeah.
And
You've
there
had
must
to
be
do the judging
consequences.
yourself already. Speaking of judgment and cleansing, you've already left a mark for the people of what will become the mortal states of humankind. A great stretch of their whole coastline is known as the Black Shore. For where there was sand, there is now only stone and glittering volcanic glass. You cannot dock on those shores. You may only walk up to them and pray in respect of what was once there. And the monument to all of that, of course, stands at its lowest point, Brighthorn, which changes its name to Dusk Point.
Okay.
Okay, so one of your goals is to set up some form of judgment. Theme of the day, word of the day.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Judgment. Okay. Any other immediate thoughts?
I know that Ystävä will want to continue the myth weaving that they started with the different forms that they took down there, and just really cementing the aspect of, I don't even know if it's the three figures of the old crone,
Yeah.
the
I'm
young
right with you.
woman, and the like no nonsense man.
Yep. It's like the Morrigan, right? The Morrigan often had three aspects that meant three very different things, but they were all the Morrigan, even if they functioned by different names.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And just in a like attempt to keep the influence on our side as opposed to the hearth side.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my effort is put toward that myth weaving and that worship.
Yeah.
And the creation eventually of druids.
Oh yeah. Yep. Love it. They've already sort of started, I think, under your banner. Okay. For Nevrik or Oonan, any thoughts and goals?
Rachel D&D 28 just redeemed Hydrate or Die Straight, and Bioware Babe redeemed Show Us the Puppy. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm out of water.
She was not happy about it. I'm sorry.
The puppy
You're
was shown.
okay.
The puppy was
She was
shown.
not happy about it.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so sorry.
I almost shit myself. I almost shit myself. She's so dramatic. I know she makes that noise a lot when she's just like upset, but damn, it's effective.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
She knows how to.
It's an evolutionary
She knows how to
weapon.
get what she wants.
Jeez. She said, "Why would you hold me outwards?"
Am I Simba?
Hey.
I need my water. She said, "I'm mad at you now."
Shut up.
Okay. Either of you.
Jesus, I forgot. Nevrik's on a journey to live among the mortals.
Right.
Experiencing emotions and like truly experiencing them firsthand rather than them feeling them through others.
Mm-hmm.
So you can better be the god of emotion. Also, I in the first in the beginning part of that time, establishing a school of magic for wizardry.
He does that. Wow. Talk about prestigious.
Well, I mean, you hear about like
Wow.
if the story of Jesus Christ is, he walked along the world. Blah, blah, blah. He walked on Earth for X amount of years, gained followers, fucking piked it, and then resurrected himself and went to heaven. And these followers then spread the rest of the world. So I can totally see something like, Nevrik in these mortal journeys bumping into some, wannabe wizard and be like, hey, by the way, if you tap into your anger at one point on a particular day, you're going to fucking shoot lightning out your eyes.
Right.
Think about that for a second. And then that getting sort of spread and matriculated a little differently.
Hey, you should make a school. I'll help.
Great. Okay. And of course we can add to this list, but just, thinking of things at the moment. Anything on you? And Oonan, you will be bound in a very nominal form, a very, semi-conscious form that is the ship, right? I love that analogy, through the god core, for 1,000 years.
I talk to the ball every day.
It's like a cat playing Gone, right?
It's
But
even
also
it's
a
even
therapy
more
session.
stoic somehow.
And I think as the orb, it is, the god core does not communicate verbally, or even verbally in the Discord space, the mental divine Discord. But it can communicate sensation. Like you can feel how it feels about a certain response. It's sort of like the first magic 8-ball, right? Like try again next time. But you feel that, and you can sort of get imagery from that, from Oonan. It feels distinctly Oonan-esque as well. You know that there is some part of Oonan in there. And you, Ystävä, more than most, can feel that same tethering to that slumbering Oonan energy in the God Sleep to the active part of it still in the god core, right? It's part of the reason why it's not going to take the full 10,000 years. But when one builds a demiplane, one gives something up in the process. But after the 1,000 years, once you retain and regain the fullness of your power.
Mm-hmm. I would say starting as maybe a dream in the god sleep is just the want to really like focus in on the part of Unan's power that is very much Uro, and like trying and just putting focus towards that in partially like reverence and prayer, but also trying to understand and cultivate,
like honing your connection to the creator, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Trying to fully become the extension and like the arbiter of Uro that he wants to be. And then once awake, I would think that it almost like he would definitely want to spread himself thin in the sense that just try to be as watchful as possible, as like be it through like on Regolus, like owls kind of like watching over the people, through actively helping his fellow gods in whatever capacity they need, and then I mean just like me essentially, without actually doing the expression, but like mean mugging at like Law, just being like,
I can see this whole group getting into a series of like mythical tussles with Godwin.
Absolutely.
That's a one shot.
Yeah. Godwin the Gold Mantled.
That'd be fun.
Just like
the gold mantled
The gold
and
man.
big
Wait,
cocked.
what's
Get
his
fucked.
ability? What's his domain?
his domain.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the
You said justice.
he's the god
right?
of justice.
Yeah.
God of Justice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a problem. Okay.
Oh, not Batman.
So he's the god of paladins. Essentially, he creates
Yeah.
paladins.
What's the D&D version? Hexter with the fist or whatever it is. It's like that kind of thing. This is not lawful good. It's not lawful evil. This is the lawful neutral god. This is the god of rule followers. This is the god of.
But he's also at the teat of somebody who.
Well, that's whose rules he's following.
Yeah.
Right. And those rules may change. A lot of executioners will give a prayer to Godwin before they go about their business.
Yipers.
Right.
It is canon that Ystävä never gets his name right.
Great. Jeffrey.
Never.
Godfrey.
Okay. I'm loving this. I think your quest to sort of become the aspect of worldly vigilance will actually put you in tandem with Aldwin a lot of the time, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And there's
I guess I would almost act as this Hearth's Godwin, but more hands-on.
Yeah.
And like actually not like, this is my job because it's my job. I was given this job.
well, I mean,
It's more like Ünen cares,
Yeah.
Ünen wants to help, but
Aldwin
is...
cares, guys.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. He cares
No.
too much.
I see
Get
this.
out of
May I posit a potential name for this group of moonbound gods? You have the Crucible over there. Perhaps you collectively are the Eclipse.
I like that. Yes.
I like it a lot.
Right?
Hashtag Twilight Eclipse.
Gang, gang! Stephanie Meyer, friend of the show? Do we want that? Like,
I wouldn't say no.
I wouldn't say no either.
Robert Pattinson, friend of the show.
Yes.
I would say absolutely yes.
yeah, you know what? Sure. Twilight Crew, friend of the show. Friend of the show. Okay.
Especially Dad. I don't know his name.
But
But
sure.
whoever plays Dad.
Okay. So, with these, with the,
Love that guy.
Sorry, I had a light bulb. Well, we might not like it. It sounds kind of cold.
Give
Never
us,
mind.
give
Don't
us the
be
spaghetti.
coy.
Give us the
Anyways, I
spaghetti.
was gonna say, moons are satellites. We could
I
call
was
it the satellite.
that had crossed my mind literally. Yeah, I was thinking like if there was like a word for satellite, or if there was like a fun play
sure
on
there
it,
is.
but essentially like yes, because I mean a moon is a satellite,
Right.
literally.
Definitely like the eclipse. That's the name for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, for like you guys as
Yeah.
a group.
Because not only is it dope and lunar, it is an extreme metaphor of the like us being able to stand in between the sun and the earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, as it's like shield, basically.
What if
But you
it's
can't
called the
stare
shield?
directly
Shield.
at it. Well, then
Although that brings us to
Marvel.
Marvel.
Oh, it
we would
does.
be
I
called like
didn't
the
even think
agents of shield.
Oops.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of... Satellite, unfortunately, has very few synonyms, and they're
Yeah.
all bad.
It's
It's like,
it's a fairly
space station! Asteroid!
It's a fairly new word. As
Literally,
words
one
go.
of the top synonyms for it is, I shit you not, Sputnik. So, we're not doing so well. But there are plenty of words out there. I mean, I think we can find that. And this brings me to my next point, as the curtain slowly, the front curtain, the main curtain, falls on the gods here. Our next task, of course, is crafting myths for these gods to live in, and I think a lot of the world that we are going to live in Act 2 is going to be mostly revealed to us and to our fine viewers here, the actual friends of the show, through our sessions. But I think these myths, could be a lot of fun to share them through the Discord and make, just sort of post them as we go, and sort of create a compendium, a mythology, a working written mythology for us here, and for the Crucible and the Eclipse, and how they function together, and how these 10,000 years grow and change, and what your domains begin to include as the world changes. Right? Somebody's got to be the god of the train downstairs. All right?
Choo choo.
Choo choo chugga chugga. Yeah, there's a big train. We got to talk about that coming up.
Like Snowpiercer? What are we talking
Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah,
fully.
my
So, but
character works on at one point in his
I've been working on the railroad
all
the live long day.
Yeah.
So
I'm committing.
basically, that's the next step. And for those of you watching now or listening later, this is going to be where you guys come in, because we are going to start to filter through this new mythology through all you guys, and I can't wait to see what you guys think of this, because this is where the transition happens. Act 1 quietly and coldly comes to a close on this new moon, right?
Twilight new moon.
With a twilight new.
Twilight new moon into eclipse.
and on to a breaking dawn.
And on.
What if the next chapter is new moon, and then
I don't think we can legally do that.
Yeah,
I
right?
don't think so.
I don't think we can legally do that. I mean, we could call it, as we called the episode, it could be this episode title could be the next name of the next chapter.
Yeah, that's what I was like, in the way.
Act 2 could be called Moonrise, right? And then or whatever it is. Case in point, we are moving on to Act 2 now. Okay, so these gods are going to go about their business for 10,000 years, fucking and faffing about.
Give you such a cricket.
Lots of fucking for Ystävä.
And apparently others too, right? And this is where we'll pick up next week.
One. We'll figure that out.
Nevrik has one as
Unen's
well.
spending their 6 once.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Actually, yeah, now I'm thinking about it.
Probably
Nevrik's
not.
doing this for 10,000 years. Yeah, this is not just one. Never mind, yeah.
I feel like these two answers were
So
very
I'm
different.
yeah. I'm sticking with 0.
So 0 and a fucking
And then-
progeny.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
we'll get there.
yeah.
Right. Okay, guys. So there's going to be no downtime here. Next week, what is that? The 18th?
The
The 18th will be the start of Act 2 of our campaign here. A much more recognizable style of play as we explore the world of Regulus from the ground up with a group of the 3 of you, at least at base, who will have been adventuring for some time together. These are storied adventurers. This is not like a fresh group of people meeting in a tavern. You might meet in a tavern, but you're old regulars in that tavern, right? And you probably get a few drinks on the house by this point. So we've got some more.
Start worrying about gold. Fuck.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
Currency.
So we're going to talk a little more ourselves here now, just to sort of settle things out. But as for our evening with our friends here, you guys, we're about done. So at this point, again, make sure to jump on the Discord now if you haven't, because this is where all of this is coming down the pipeline. You'll see all of that stuff first. You'll have a lot more context for next week if you're on the Discord now. And otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week. Spread the love. Tell somebody what they mean to you one way or another. Enjoy yourselves. Don't overdo it. Take care of yourselves. But as for now, I think we're going to raid.
We are going to